Hello folks and welcome. Zorin OS 18 Core. Today I'm going to talk about, some medium to advanced concepts on your file manager. One of them would be if you are looking for different compression or maybe standard tar. They're not available in the standard menu, but I will show you how to do that today. The other thing is if you are curious about if you have a SharePoint on your local network, whether it's Microsoft or some Linux or Mac, we can talk about some interfacing in your file manager. We can also log using SFTP into those machines. I'll be using that one as an example because that runs server SSH also. And if time permits, I'll show you some nifty little commands you can do in your terminal box, including even updating your system and rebooting it. I do that actually using an iPhone on this machine. That machine does not have a keyboard or a mouse or even a monitor. I can plug it in anywhere. So if you have a small network, for instance, this might be to your advantage to maybe look through this video. 600 videos is what I have on my YouTube site if you want to subscribe, and I do explain all details. So if you don't have enough time to sit through this video, subscription, come back whenever you have time. So the first thing I'm going to talk about, though, is a tool that is outside your file manager for archives. But you should have it installed. Type in FIL. Look for File Roller. If you don't have it, then you'll find it in your software store. File Roller is something that some people do not know how to use. I'm going to walk you through that so you can see some additional options to create archives that are either compressed or not compressed. So I'm going to create a container that is not compressed and throw a whole bunch of files and folders in it. We start with the hamburger menu, or the three dashes here called the main menu. We're going to open up a new archive. Then we're going to take a look at the extensions. Okay. Starts with 7Z. There's a scroll bar here, which I'm going to slowly scroll, and you can see there's quite a few things in here, all the way down to zip. You'll also notice a lot of these have tar something on them. Generally, those are compressed, except when tar by itself is not compressed. And what does tar stand for anyways, besides the stuff on your roads? Tape archive. It's been around since the Unix days, like me. So in the Linux community, we use tar balls, I call them tar boxes, to throw files and folders into one file. It's very convenient if you can afford the storage size. Don't get that confused with JAR. This is TAR. All right, so the mistake a lot of people make with this application is they'll delete the tail end of this and start typing. I will just call it backup, because that's essentially what we're doing here. And I'll use today's date on it, which is the 20th. Sorry, I'll put another dash in there. All right, so as you can see, there's no blue, so I can't continue. We need to put that extension on the tail end. So put in a period or dot, and then TAR. Then it goes blue. Where's it going to save it? Let's open up the file manager in the home folder, in this case, SAM. Okay? So let me finish this up. So people hit create and then they go, what do I do next? Well, there's the plus key here. We need to add files and folders. All right, so this is my last selection and it remembers it, so I'm going to deselect them. But you can generally select your home folder and then the subfolders, whatever you are wanting to do to make that archive. So I'll select documents, music, and pictures. That's probably a good category for saving those personal files. Maybe you have some additional folders. All right, so if you need to see the whole name, right next to the arrow down here, you can just click and drag, and there you go. So the music folder is the largest out of the three. In either case, the tar has been created. We can place these on our internal drives. So this is the Zorin OS hard drive. These are internal hard drives. We also have the network, which I'll talk about also how to log in on those if you've never done that, in case somebody else set a SharePoint up for you, or maybe you're logging into Secure Shell also. But in either case, we can start by opening this thing up. Just double click on it. It'll generate a folder called that same name. And there it is. And then the subfolders are in here. And I mean subfolders after subfolder and whatever else you got in there. And you can see I have content. Generally, when I film and I don't have content, I will make mention of it. Okay? So we're going to deal with this file in a second. We have other locations, like I said, on your network or on this device, this computer. We have the Zorin OS. We have 2 extra hard drives. And you can probably guess what this is used for. Sometimes maybe if you can't afford an internal drive, you use a USB stick. Just remember, those cheap USB sticks are exactly what they are. If you need reliable backups, I would use a hard drive, external hard drive, not a USB stick, because they will fail on you. Because they're, like I said, if you get one that's cheap, that's what you get. Then if you can afford to have, let me remove that. So if you have, let's say this was a Microsoft machine, you have SharePoints on it, or even Linux machine. This MX99, is just what I called it, has Secure Shell installed, and it also has SharePoints. By me double clicking, the only thing I can see right now is SharePoints. I don't need a security certificate or anything to get on board. So, but I log in as anonymous, and that's very common what people do on their home networks. Okay, and then you have the subfolders, and you can just deposit files in here. I could take that backup and put it in here. But to make things a little bit speedier, let me do it in a different way. We're going to log into that machine using SFTP. And I'm going to place that into one of the internal folders of that drive on the user that I'm authorized to do that with. But I'm also going to show you Control-H hidden files. This folder here, I deleted about 5 minutes ago, but it regenerated itself, but there's nothing in it. Oh, sorry, I'll take it back. Let me get rid of it. I thought I deleted it. But now it's deleted. It's in my trash. Okay? You can see there's 2 of them. I'm going to even empty this thing. All right, but I have seen that folder regenerate itself with nothing in it. But the .ssh folder will be created once I log into one of these machines using either SFTP or if I use terminal using SSH, it'll generate that folder. So let's do that right now. So I will first let you see there's not an SSH folder here, but I'm going to click in the address field. You can also use Control-L as in Larry, and then type in SFTP. Do we know what that is? A lot of people do, especially if they set up machines on their network with Secure Shell. One more time on the settings part, you do have Secure Shell tab in here, but it is not set up as server. And but you do have the client software, or should have it installed. Anyways, SFTP stands for Secure File Transfer Protocol. In the old days, FTP is what a lot of people use. So we're going to be encrypting stuff. Colon, not a semicolon. 2 forward slashes, not a backslash. You must have the username and password of the machine you're connecting to connect completely. So that happens to be the username @ and that's usually shift and the number 2 key to get in there, to get the @ symbol. And then it's either the computer name .local if your machine does local resolution, and mine do, or you can put the IP address. All your computers on your home networks have internet protocol addresses. Okay, whether it's 3 computers or 12 or however many you have. I have lots. So I'm going to connect to that machine doing that, MX99. Now if I forget to put the .local, I'll get a whoops error, unhandled error message. That's because I didn't finish the statement. It's okay. It's still holding the thing there. So I'm going to, after the @mx99, I'm going to put a dot or a period and then the word local so it can look up the system. At the same moment, this machine is telling me I don't have a security certificate to log into that machine. Would I accept it, yes or no? Okay, so basically it's going to send me that information. I also get an IP address here. I'm going to log in anyways, and then put in that username's password. And that part is fine for most people. There are different ways to authenticate yourself using keys with SSH, but I think this is plenty good for home use. I have full access here to this user's home folder. Okay. And that also has a SSH folder. So this, I'm going to get rid of that backup and then take this one and put it there on that folder called Zorin 1. Now, at the same moment, while it's still transferring, even though it's just got the primary thumbnail, because it takes a couple seconds to transfer anything over 100 megabytes, but more importantly, the home folder for this machine has an SSH folder with a new file called known hosts and a security certificate, which generally is an ED 25519, which is plenty good for home networks. You can see that's a long string, but that's plenty good for home use. Okay. Disconnecting. Well, I'm going to log in a different way. Still using the same method though. SFTP. : 2// username @ this time IP address 192.168 is what the number on my system is. I think it was 116. Why is it asking me for another part of that security certificate? It's because I'm logging in with the IP address instead of the other way that I logged in earlier with the name of the computer .local. Still requires the same password. All right, after I do that, then it won't ask for that security certificate anymore unless I delete this folder right here. If you do, then you'll have to re-enter that information. All right, so we have, I'm going to log into this also using a SharePoint. We'll just use Share 1. And I'm going to let you see the connector differences. One says SMB on it, and the other one says SFTP on it. The SFTP part is much more powerful than this is, because this is only looking at these folders. This is looking at all the folders. So this particular machine, just to give you some background, I set it up a long time ago with a keyboard, mouse, and a monitor. It doesn't have those anymore. So that machine only has a power connector, and it generally stays on 24/7, and I can even put it in my garage because it's got a wireless connector, a wireless interface card. How would I update that machine? I use Terminal for that. I even use that on my iPhone. Terminal Pound or Terminal Hash is actually a free app in the App Store for iPhone, and I can connect to that machine and update it on my couch if I need to. Or I can use this one or any other machine that uses Terminal. I'll show you some of those examples a little bit later. But again, you can run SFTP, SMB. I didn't install any additional software with this Zorin 18 installation. I'm not running server on this machine, but this one is running Secure Shell server. So we're placing files there. You can also pull files. Okay, hopefully that was clear. So if we are talking about that same machine using Terminal, if you want to switch gears for a second, I will give you those examples. And you may be surprised what you can do with Zorin, considering it's supposed to be just for brand new users or beginners. It's as long as you know how to do this kind of stuff. So SSH is secure shell. Remember that MX99 machine is running SSH server on it. All right, I still need a username on that system and I'll use the computer name mx99.local instead of the IP address. And I know I'm connected because it's asking me for a password. Now you'll see that that name is no longer Sam. It says T-Man on it, MX99. So I'm logged into that system right now. And it's been running 1 hour and 23 minutes because that's the last time I rebooted it remotely. So if you're familiar with this INXI command, you can do lots of options or switches. Like this one is just the graphics information on it. But I'm going to use another option, which is a big F XZ, which strips out personal. So this particular machine is Linux, but it doesn't use systemd. It uses that instead. It has been running about 1 hour and 24 minutes since I last rebooted it. It's got about 8 gigs of RAM on it. And here's the drive information, the Bluetooth, the network, the graphics card, the CPU, and the system itself. So yes, no, it's not Zorin. It's that. And it's an XFCE. Running server software. So it's a quad-core Intel Celeron. Fits in the palm of my hand. A little bit bigger than Raspberry Pi though. And again, I don't even use the graphics part. But in either case, I can get a wealth of information out of this thing, the remote commands. So I also monitor hard drives this way with that simple df command. So it's using an NVMe. Partition 2 is formatted with Linux because there's the root symbol. It's running at 10%. So it's a 2 terabyte drive. And I got 1.7. So when this thing hits 85%, I'll be concerned. You can also use the small h, and it'll give you a different math calculation, but this is still the same. I'll just show that example real quick. It's still 10%. Just the math is done a little bit differently. This is a very simple command to remember, free. That's your RAM and swap space. Punching up clear. As I pointed out, this machine does not have a keyboard, mouse, or monitor. How do I do the updates on it? I run that line code right there, 495, remotely. I'll do it for you right now. The other thing I can do, I will scroll up a little bit, is I can remote reboot the machine. There's another 481 with the same line code on it. So instead of me typing in this is the command to update that system. It might be slightly different with other Linux distributions, but it's generally similar. I use an exclamation point, 495, instead of typing in that line. And you'll see that it'll punch that up for me. It's asking for a password because it is a super user do command. And you will see that it will connect to the repositories on that machine, not Zorin. There's nothing that says Zorin there. It says MX and Debian. There's nothing really to upgrade or update. But if it did, it would actually be going through the process. And I do this quite often even on my iPhone. So yes, I can remote reboot that machine. I can remote update this machine, and you can do the same using Secure Shell. Yeah, there's a lot of things you can do. Just be careful with those passwords, and more importantly, be careful of who you let access into those machines if you have important files. My machines sit behind 2 firewalls. Anyways, recap time. File roller, if you need some additional options regarding archiving, whether it is compressed or not. Remember that tar is also available to you. If you are trying to use Secure Shell, your client SSH should be already there for your file manager to do FTPs and, of course, browse your network for SharePoints. If you need to set up Secure Shell, then you can do it from this tab here. All right. You should be able to click through these things. And on some systems, you can just install SSH Server. That's what I have on that other machine. And it takes care of most of that stuff for you. And again, just browsing your network, you should have all the tools available to you if the SharePoints are set up properly. Generally, when you are doing SharePoints also, it is probably advisable, especially on home networks, that they'll all be on the same network if you have multiple networks. So that way they can find each other faster. And in some cases, find each other, period. So being on the same network usually helps. So if you cannot afford to have local backups and you're trying to do this tar backup stuff, do you have an internal hard drive? That would be great. If not, how about a USB hard drive? I would say USB stick is the cheapest options, but that's not always the smartest option, because the fact is USB sticks inherently will break on you someday. They're not that super reliable, to be honest with you. They're not set up like a hard drive. And that's why they're cheap. I'm going to close that. 600 videos. Subscribe. Thank you for watching.